Hello, I'm so happy each and every one of you are here. My name is Rachel Robole, and I am a mortgage advisor at AnnieMac Home Mortgage, which means I spend my days walking with clients just like you through the process of buying a home from day one to closing day and beyond. So I'm talking goals, strategies, budgets, educating and advising day in and day out. And believe me when I tell you, I am humbled and honored to get the opportunity to do what I do because a lot of times buying a home is a huge milestone with a lot of time, intention, effort, and hard work put behind it. And I get a front row seat to all of that. Here's just one example of what I'm talking about. Meet Allie and Eric. They bought their first home, a townhome, in 2019. And now they're using their equity that they've built over the last 4 years to break ground and build their next home. It's a home I've gotten personally to hear them and see them dream about and talk about for years. It's one they plan to be in for a long, long time, and a home they'll raise their family in. And it is never lost on me what a privilege it is to stand witness to, walk alongside, and be a resource through these exciting seasons. And the absolute best part is that this can be your story too. So my goal for today is that you walk away feeling more knowledgeable, more confident about the home buying process, and that you've determined through our conversation today the best next steps for you in your home buying journey. So to know where we're headed, it's kind of helpful to know where we're at, right? So 2 questions I want to pose to you. Where am I today in the home buying process? No right or wrong answer here in any capacity, just helpful to get clear and identify where are we standing in this moment. Maybe you're at the very beginning. Maybe you've talked, maybe this is something that you've dreamed of for a long time and you're finally taking action. Or maybe you've actually talked to a lender before, you're actually out on the house hunt and you're just looking for more insight. Question 2, what makes me most excited when I think about my new home? I love this question. And I love hearing the answers too. Maybe it's that kitchen that you're excited to gather with family and friends in, or maybe it's the ability to customize your space, make it feel your own and work for your lifestyle. Or maybe you're simply excited to stop paying rent and start building wealth for yourself. Whatever it is, I want you to write it down because in a nutshell, this is your why. It's why you showed up today to get educated, and I want that why to continue to be a guiding light in this conversation and in your home buying journey. So what are we going to cover today? We're going to meet the team, Scott and I, my dad and I. We're going to talk through the home buying process from 3,000-foot view. We're going to talk through what does getting pre-approved actually look like? How should I build my home buying team wisely and intentionally? How do I define my budget in a way that aligns with my goals? And then how do I determine what the best next steps are for me? Stick with me to the end, and I'll make sure that you get the complete guide to the home loan process that Scott and I personally wrote. So starting from the top, meet the team. Collectively, Scott and I are here to educate and advise in a way that makes you feel super empowered to make wise decisions about real estate. We truly, truly understand that buying a home is one of the biggest financial decisions that you'll probably make or have made in your lifetime, and it can feel a little bit overwhelming at first. But that's why we work intentionally to provide you with the knowledge and resources so that you can walk through the loan process in a way that makes you feel at ease. It makes you feel confident that no detail is overlooked and that you have a dedicated team working on your behalf. We want to make financing feel simple, seamless, and very, very strategic. So Scott has helped hundreds of clients purchase a home in his 25 plus years in the mortgage industry. And he consistently is ensuring that those families feel taken care of and that their mortgage is working for them as goals and seasons of life change. One of his most recent reviews, I think, really speaks to who Scott is. And it said something along the lines of Scott outworks everyone. He will pick up the phone anytime you need him, day or night. And as someone who sits behind the scenes, as someone who grew up watching my dad serve clients, I can truly attest that this is what he does. His philosophy is very simple. It is work hard for you and serve you well. And that's exactly what he does. As for me, I'm a wedding planner turned mortgage advisor, and it was actually the process of buying a home that prompted me to join my dad's team. My husband, Zach, and I were living in a very, very cute loft apartment. We had just gotten our rent renewal, and our rent increased to a point where we didn't really feel comfortable affording to live there anymore. And so we kind of started looking at other housing options. And to kind of paint this picture a little bit more clear, we were newlyweds, new-ish to the workforce. My husband was about to start grad school, so we were removing one income from the picture and adding tuition in. And so we had set the goal. We will purchase in the next 5 years. That feels realistic. That feels manageable. But kind of as we started looking at other housing options, we quickly realized that there wasn't a lot in the areas we were looking at that felt affordable. So sat down with Scott. We crunched the numbers. 60 days later, we have keys to a new home with a monthly payment that felt stable for the next 3 years. It felt comfortable. It fit our budget. And that was a complete relief for me, a life-changing relief, a life-changing weight off my shoulders, because I went from feeling very uncertain about what my housing payment would look like for the next few years to, well, uncertain, but also thinking home ownership was out of my reach, to I have the keys to my own home. And it was in that moment, or in this season, that I really realized and understood why my dad loves what he does, why it's more than a day job for him. And that's really why I left a career that I loved to join him at AnnieMac, with the mission to help others find financial freedom and feel those life-changing effects of homeownership that I have felt. Since we bought, we've expanded our family with a German Shepherd pup named Ollie. We welcomed our first babe to this home, our first son, and it's been such a haven and a true constant for us through many life changes. And honestly, this is really the reason that I get out of bed every day, with the goal in mind to help you find and finance a home that is everything you want it to be and more. So, what does buying a home look like? From a 30,000 foot view of this process, this is it. You'll hear me say it probably 100 times tonight. You don't need to leave being an expert. You just need to know where to start. From there, we will walk with you every step of the way. So get prepared. Find the house, win the offer, secure the financing, reach that clear to close status, get to closing day, get the keys to your new home, pop the bubbly to celebrate. So we're going to circle back to tangible ways of how you can best prepare and lay a strong foundation for your search. But for now, let's envision you're pre-approved, you've connected with an agent, you've gotten very clear on your budget and your goals. You are ready to get out on the house hunt and find that house. As you're on the search, your lender and agent will work as a unified team to support you, answer questions, ensure that you're up to date on any and all changes in the market and how they might affect you. So in terms of your search, or as homes pop up that you're interested in, your agent will arrange those showings for you. And then myself as the lender will prepare estimates, so you have a very realistic and accurate picture as to what that monthly payment looks like for that home, and what that cash out of pocket investment is. It's so important to be as transparent as possible throughout the process, because the more your lender and agent know, the better they can provide options that align with your goals. When you're out on a showing or looking at a home with an agent, it's so important to tell them what you like about that home, but it's also equally as important to tell them what you're not liking, so that they can tailor your search, handpick homes that will be a good fit. And I say 100 times over, lean on your agent, lean on your lender, ask questions. When you're out looking at a home, your agent will provide immense value and expertise, in reference to the bones of the home, the neighborhood, the appliances, the condition of the appliances, the age of the appliances. What does the resale value look like for the time value, or the time that you're going to be in this home? I remember at my home search, I'm super excited about the kitchen cabinet colors, or maybe the backyard has the perfect spot for a patio and set in a fire pit. But the agent is telling me your furnace and air conditioner are 20 plus years old. You're most likely going to need to replace that, or just providing different viewpoint, different perspective, different lens to the homes that you're viewing. So you found a home that you like, you're ready to submit an offer. Your agent is going to be building rapport with the listing agent who's selling the home and representing the sellers, so that you can get as much insight as possible of, are there other offers on the table? What is the seller looking for, so that we can really tailor our offer to be competitive and attractive to the seller, but also be strategic to what you're looking for. When your offer is accepted, that's when your earnest money will be collected. So this is maybe a buzzword that you've heard, but maybe aren't really sure what earnest money is. And so that is kind of a good faith deposit, or a sum of money that you're going to put down to demonstrate your seriousness about buying this home. This money will be delivered when your offer is accepted. Since the money's being given or being put down in good faith, if you are unable to complete financing or choose to walk away once you're past a specific time period, or after specific conditions have been met as you've agreed upon in your purchase contract, you may be in a position where you forfeit this earnest money. Your agent will be guiding you throughout this, be a resource to educate and advocate on your behalf if this is you in a situation. But the bottom line on earnest money that I want you to walk away from tonight is that it demonstrates to the seller that you're serious about purchasing that home. You get to determine the amount that you put down. Typically, it's about 1% of the purchase price. And then it's delivered when your offer is accepted. So these funds are needed prior to closing day. But on closing day, this earnest money will get applied towards your down payment. So you're not bringing above and beyond that down payment amount. When your offer is accepted, if you've elected for an inspection, this is when you will schedule or arrange that. Inspections are highly encouraged, but not required. So they will give you a clear picture of the true condition of the home, and they typically cost anywhere from $300 to $700 plus. And that truly depends on the size of the property, the type of inspection you're performing, as some are more time consuming, costly, intrusive than others. Again, your agent will be there to be a resource and refer you to inspectors and advise you on what inspections make sense for the specific property of interest. Inspections can also be a place for negotiating. If you find areas of concern or items that need to be resolved, you can negotiate for the seller to repair XYZ, to contribute to closing costs, or you can actually renegotiate the sales price. Know, if you're anything like me and you freeze when you hear the word negotiate, remember that is what your agent is there for. They are an expert and they will be the best advocate for you. So your offer has been accepted. You are through, or your earnest money has been submitted. You're through the inspection period, if there was one. You're ready to secure financing and move on to this processing and underwriting phase. My team really does the heavy lifting here, but occasionally we might need updated documents or some more information here or there as needed. This will also be the stage when an appraisal is requested, if required. So that's where a third party is going to go out and provide an objective opinion on the value of the home. So we want to ensure that the value of the home meets or exceeds the purchase price. If a home doesn't appraise for the purchase price, at that point, you will go back to the sellers and negotiate either reducing the sales price to that appraised value, or the buyer can make up the difference in sales price and appraised value in cash on closing day. In the processing and underwriting phase, it'll also be the time for you to go out and obtain homeowners insurance. This will be specific to the property and the coverage that you're looking for. But as always, if you need recommendations on agents to reach out to for insurance, always happy to connect you there. Once we have all those final conditions fulfilled, we reach the clear to close status, which is truly a celebratory milestone. Once we're clear to close, before closing, you'll do a final walkthrough of the property with your agent to ensure that the home is in the same condition as it was when you signed the purchase agreement. And if any repairs were to be done, that they were done properly. On closing day, you can expect to sign the paperwork at the title company. You'll get the keys to your new home. Celebratory moments on cue, right? And you can start moving in. So, quick recap of this process. You're getting prepared, you're finding the home, you're winning the offer, securing financing, you reach that clear to close status, and you celebrate on closing day. So let's dive a little bit deeper into this getting prepared step. What does getting pre-approved actually look like, and what does that actually mean? Getting pre-approved is going to help provide confidence in your search because you're going to have a clear vision of your budget. It's going to avoid delays because you're being proactive to get educated and get your financing in order so that when that right house pops up, you're able to move forward with submitting an offer and feel comfortable and confident to do so. It also is going to establish your credibility as a home buyer to that seller having a pre-approval letter that's submitted with your offer, that you've done the due diligence to get pre-approved and you are qualified to purchase the home of interest. In our initial conversation, we're really going to lay the groundwork and define these goals. We're going to talk through time frame. Are you attempting to align this purchase with a current lease? Are there pending deadlines, job relocations, etc.? Or is our timeline very fluid? We're going to talk through location. Do you have a goal of moving to a specific region, city, school district, neighborhood? We're going to talk about income. What are the details of your current income? Are you salaried, self-employed, hourly? How does that look from the lens of qualifying for a home? We're going to talk about down payment. Is there money set aside dedicated to the to the down payment and closing costs of this home? We're going to talk through credit. What does my credit position look like? How can I best establish, maintain, maybe improve credit so that I'm in the most advantageous position to purchase a home in the most economical way? And this is when I really get the opportunity to get a clear picture of where does your home purchase fit into your short-term and long-term financial goals? What is a comfortable monthly payment for you? How long do you intend to be in this home? And this conversation is really meant to help us get clear on what these goals are so that they can be guiding lights as we make decisions throughout the process. One thing you're hearing me say a lot is, what's a comfortable monthly payment for you? So it's important to understand what is included in this mortgage payment. You're going to see principal and interest. So that principal is going to be the amount that's dedicated towards or reducing that loan amount. Interest is going to be the cost of borrowing that money. Homeowners insurance, again, specific to the property. Your property taxes will also be specific to county, city, neighborhood. So those can vary, but once you get out there, you'll kind of get a good pulse of, at this price point, here's a general range of my property taxes. But it can provide some variability in your monthly payment depending on what cities you're looking at. Mortgage insurance is something you'll pay if you put less than 20% down. So your mortgage insurance premium will be based off of your credit score, your income, and the percent of down payment that you're putting down. So oftentimes it's more affordable than people think to help you get into a home with less than 20% down, as opposed to waiting to save up that 20%. And then HOA is included in here, your homeowners association, if applicable. So if you're in a condo, a townhome, excuse me, and then we are seeing some single family homes have HOAs as well. So this is kind of what makes up that total monthly payment or that total housing obligation as we look at budget. Another piece that we'll talk about when we're refining the budget is, what is this cash out of pocket total that we should be expected or prepared to invest with this home purchase. So here are 5 things to keep in mind as you're looking at your bank account, determining, is the amount of money I have set aside appropriate for the price point that I'm looking at? You're going to have that inspection that's paid up front when your offer is accepted. That earnest money, again, is paid up front when your offer is accepted. Earnest money will go towards your down payment. I separate earnest money again just to know, hey, I'm going to need this before closing day. Down payment, closing costs, and prepaid items will be paid on closing day. Closing costs are going to be processing and underwriting fees, title company fees. Prepaid items are separate from closing costs because it's your money, you're paying it upfront on closing day for future expenses, particularly surrounding homeowners insurance and property taxes, so that when those expenses are due, you have set aside funds to pay for your mortgage servicer to pay those on your behalf. One of the top questions I get are, what are first-time home buyer programs out there to make this more economical and affordable for me to get into my first home? Again, remember Allie and Eric, they bought their first home, a townhome, knowing, hey, we're going to be here 3 to 5 years and we're going to build that equity to help it. It's going to be a stepping stone to help us get to that next home. So Home Ready and Home Possible are 2 conventional loan options that allow you to put minimum 3% down. They have an interest rate advantage, and there's a discounted mortgage insurance premium if you qualify for this program. Another first-time home buyer program that a lot of my clients take advantage of, Minnesota Housing Finance Agency, where you can qualify for up to $18,000 in down payment assistance. So this helps you kind of cover those down payment, closing costs, help you get into a home, start building equity, gaining appreciation, etc. One of my favorite questions to ask, or one of the most important questions to ask, is who is on your team? Remember, you're not alone in this journey. You have a team of experts supporting you, but I always encourage you to be mindful and be intentional of, who am I including in this process? After completing the pre-approval process, we love to assist you in connecting with a reputable realtor who's an expert in the area that you're searching in, if you haven't already connected with a realtor. The goal here is to create a unified, cohesive team of people that you trust to give you expert advice that's tailored to your goals. It's never too early to connect with a real estate agent. Get a search set up so you can start seeing what's on the market, in your price point, and in your ideal location. But I also like to ask, outside of these experts, of who is on your team. If you know you're going to want someone's advice, whether that's mom, dad, brother, maybe a financial advisor, it's so helpful to include them from, in every step from day one. That way everyone's on the same page. They're familiar with the current market. They understand your goals and can provide insight as decisions are being weighed. One of our goals is to help determine best next steps here. So what does that timeline look like for you? When should you be starting this process? One of those gut check questions that I ask you to ask yourself is, if my dream home were to hit the market in the next 4 months, would I want to make a move? If the answer is yes, you should absolutely be getting pre-approved. Having these conversations, getting clear on your budget, being prepped so that if that home does hit the market, you're ready to submit an offer. You've done the legwork to feel confident to do that. If the answer is, I don't think I'm ready to move, or I wouldn't want to make a move for XYZ reasons, I'm looking closer to that 6 months, 12 months, 2+ years. Again, never too early to start having conversations with a lender and real estate agent, establishing those relationships, that level of trust, getting educated, understanding the lingo, because by nature, this process is a little bit stressful. So that allows you to feel comfortable with the process itself so that you have more confidence to navigate those decisions when you're in there. Also, it gives you the opportunity an affirmation to understand where you're at. You know, am I looking at the correct price point? Does my income work for the homes that I want to buy or the loan programs I want to qualify for? One of the areas that I see a lot of, or that is helpful to get affirmation or understanding where you're at, is your credit score. Is this something that okay, this is where I'm at, here's what I need to do to maintain it, or actually I have room for improvement? Again, we are preparing to put you in the most advantageous position possible. So people oftentimes feel a little bit hesitant to get their credit pulled by a lender. Totally understand and appreciate the concern for that. We have the opportunity to do a soft credit pull. So no hard inquiry for you, no effect whatsoever on your credit score. That's one option. Another option, if you say, hey, I'm not quite ready for that as well, there's a few other resources that you can look at to get a clearer picture. You know, you might be looking at a bank lending or a bank app or other credit, other credit resources that are giving you a credit score. That doesn't mean they're using the same scoring model that a lender will use. So here are a couple options that will give you a clear picture of your credit score that will be used for mortgage qualification purposes. Annualcreditreport.com gives you the option to view all 3 credit reports from 3 bureaus for free once a year. This gives you the opportunity to look at your credit report and confirm there are no inaccuracies or errors. If there are, trade lines reporting incorrectly, or just incorrect information in general, you can request those errors to be corrected. myfico.com will actually give you your credit score from each bureau. So again, gives you a ballpark of, okay, am I in the 500s? Am I 550, 600, 700 plus? Gives you a helpful idea of, again, affirming, all right, I'm in the range I want to be in, or hey, what can I do to get to that range that I want to be in? And let's do it now while I have 6 months or a year, as opposed to finding out, hey, I'm ready to buy, but actually from a credit perspective, I'm not ready to buy, or I'm not necessarily in a position to get the best, most competitive interest rate, or there might be some other costly effects to credit not being in an ideal spot. The other piece too that I can do is, if we determine, hey, we do have a few collections or some items that we want to improve, I can connect you with a credit counselor that's going to give you very specific advice and very specific timeline of how we can reach those goals from a credit standpoint. So there's an abundance of resources with the goal to put you in the best position possible. All right, pausing to say, this was a lot of information. You probably have a lot to think about. I feel honored to have gotten to spend this time with you. I want you to know that both Scott and I are here as a resource for you. And I hope that that this conversation has helped you determine, what is that best next step for me? Is it getting pre-approved, walking through that process? Is it just having an initial conversation to get some more insight and advice tailored to your position or to your situation? Is it, okay, I'm going to review this information, I'm going to process it, and now I have a better sense of what that timeline looks like of when I should be reaching out to a lender? Scott and I are always here and happy to have conversations with you to provide greater insight and get you on the house hunt.